Good afternoon, everybody. It's good to be in front of you guys on a Monday at noon. You know, virtually. I wish that I was in front of you physically. We have a pretty substantial noon class that trains here at Hinds Gracie Houston, and you know, I'm obviously missing all of those people. I do most of my training at noon time frame, but you know, we're getting by as we can with these virtual classes. You know, every day that we're in this situation where we're self-quarantined or we're forced to be closed is just one day closer to us being able to open. And I know that right now, you know, nobody wants to be in this situation, and they're making the best of the things that they can. So we're going to try to do that today with this week's techniques. We're going to be working on a hip toss, and we're also going to be working on lasso leg off of the spider guard, and then eventually this week we're going to be working on the sweep from there. I'm going to show you guys some solo drills that you can do from that position using your belt or a strap or anything like that. Belt's probably the easiest thing to use because you should have ready access to that. We're even going to be able to use these techniques in no-gi as well. Try to do a little control from there, and then I'm going to show you some techniques that we can do tomorrow in the no-gi class, and then Friday as well. So Luke's here to help me out today. My mulleted monster is what I started referring to him as. So we're going to work from our judo grips. Luke's got a collar grip. We're going to work on that high grip, especially as adults. Kids, I still like teaching this up high versus a lower grip on the chest. If you've got a lower grip on the chest, a lot of times what you're going to find is if I push that wrist out, I'm going to be able to start working a wrist lock on Luke, okay, either direction, okay? But if I have a higher grip, that isn't there. Luke's just going to push that hand up over my shoulder. I don't want to be able to trap that hand close to my chest or in my armpit, so that way I can do a wrist lock on Luke. Okay, so I've got a high grip on the collar, and then my sleeve grip is not going to be low on his arm. It's going to be high on his arm above his elbow. The reason for that is I've used that to create a lot of torque and leverage when I'm throwing Luke or turning him, and I just have less down here than I would up above his elbow. So let's work on a higher grip up their arm, above their elbow on that seam on the outside of their sleeve, and then a high grip on their collar. From this position, we're going to be moving around. I want to make sure that I'm not crossing my feet when I'm walking. Okay, I'm shuffling if I have to, but my hand that's on his collar is going to come underneath his armpit as I grab onto his far waist. Okay, I don't need to necessarily make a grip on this side, but my hand is going to hold onto his far waist. My ear comes to his chest. From this position, I still have my chest and my head up. I'm not looking down here for Luke to sprawl. Okay, so my head and my chest are still up. I'm going to bring my feet together. In this position, when I step across, I'm going to take a big step across Luke as I bring my hip through. Okay, so I've got a wider stance than I normally would when I teach this technique, but by taking this wide stance, it forces my hip through to the other side. Now, from this position, I'm still going to leave my head and my chest up. I'm just going to extend my legs a little bit. That brings Luke off the ground. I'm pulling his elbow, bending this knee as Luke falls down. As you see, I keep a good head and chest up position. My knee is going to come to his belly, and I'll adjust my outside foot to get perpendicular to his body. So again, from this position, I've got my judo grips. But focus on shuffling my feet, okay, instead of crossing them as I'm walking, shuffling. I'm going to pull Luke to me so that way I can shove this hand underneath and put my ear onto his chest. Step. In this situation, I've got my foot back behind him, so I'm still going to drive into him, shove my foot across as I stick my hip through. I've got one foot in between his legs, one on the outside, extending my legs, pulling his elbow over the top. Slowly putting him on the ground for knee on belly. From this position, guys, if you're in a situation where you don't have a lot of room to throw, or you don't want to just keep throwing the person to the ground, what we'll work on is under, step, lift. Okay? Judo grips, under, step, lift. Okay? These judo grips, my foot comes in between, that's my penetrating step. Foot comes together, across, up. Okay, so you can practice those ones. shake, through, head and chest stay up. Okay, do you have any questions so far about that, guys? Again, we're going to keep a good head up, chest up position. Our hip stays underneath us as we step through, pulling them across. If you want to do this as a solo drill, okay, by yourself, we've got our judo grips. I'm going to pommel, feet together, step across, hip. Again, judo grips. I'm going to step, feet together, leg across, hip. And all of these can be done by yourself. Getting the footwork and the handwork together. Collar grip, sleeve, underhook as I bring my hand to the back, ear to the chest as I have my penetrating step. Feet together, that brings my hip back underneath me more. Leg through, on my toe, rotate over the shoulder. Exact same position as if I'm doing it with Luke. Under, feet together, leg across, throw. Without Luke. Under, feet together, step across, throw. With Luke. Underhook, feet together, step across, throw. Okay? So if you don't have the ability to have a partner with you guys, you're still going to be able to work on this position even by yourself, working on the handwork and the footwork of the position, which is what ultimately makes everything correct with the technique. If we don't have any questions, guys, we're going to move on to the ground. I'm going to show you another solo drill that you can do to warm up your hips and your legs for this position that we're going to be working on this week. And then we're going to go forward with it using Luke. Okay? So one thing that you guys can use is your belt. Take it off your waist. Use it. Or another rope if you just, for some reason, want to tie your belts around your waist and practice it with your belt on. If not, just untie it and you can use it just like I'm going to show you. So, from this position, what I like to do is find the center of my rope or my belt, put my foot in the middle, and slide my hands back to a nice comfortable position. I don't need to come all the way to the end of the rope because these are going to simulate their arms. And unless, like I said in the kids class earlier today, you're training with Professor Joe Murphy and you've got like 8-foot long arms, most of you guys can just choke up significantly and make it more realistic, okay? If I think about this position right here and Luke comes on top of me, if this foot's on his bicep and now I take his 2 sleeves, that's the position that we're gonna work, okay? As Luke backs away, I stay in that same position. So the first drill that we're gonna work is just a spider guard drill. So this is the spider guard, my foot comes to the inside, push out, inside, push out, inside, push out, okay? The same drill with Luke. It's gonna look just like this. Sleeve, sleeve, inside, work out, inside, work out, inside, work out, okay? So you've got the spider guard that I'm using with Luke. If I used my belt instead, it's gonna be the same thing. Inside out, inside out, inside out. When I want to add the lasso leg to it, my outside leg is going to come out, over, under. Then he just rewinds, pushes out to the spider leg. Lasso leg is going to go out, over, under. Push, out, over, under. Same thing, keeping a hold of my grips. Okay, just like I would spider guard. Push, out, over, under, wrapping it around my leg, keeping that connectivity, pushing, out, over, under. Now, working this with Luke, once we have a partner, it's best if they sit up a little bit than sitting down. To get to this position, off of my grips, so I've got a sleeve grip, come back to another sleeve grip. I can work one of 2 ways. Both knees to the inside and come out, or one at a time. From this position, I'll work my body back a little bit. Now I'll start working spider guard on Luke.
Foot to the hip, foot to the bicep. Foot to the hip, foot to the bicep. Okay? Eventually, I'll work foot to the hip, outside, over, under. Outside, over, under. Outside, over, under. Helps if you point your toe. Outside, over, under. Now I've got control. Eventually from this position, I'll take my bicep foot, bring it to his hip as I bring it to me, slide him over the top. From this position to get on top, the easiest thing to do if I don't want to start attacking this arm right away is just release, place my hand on the ground, and then step back up to knee on belly. What are some questions that we've got so far, guys? Anything?
No, sir.
All right, cool. So what we'll do is from this position, I'll work on the sweep with Luke. So from this position, the closed guard, as I work through this, I've got a collar grip that's going to control his posture and a sleeve grip. That controls him being able to open my guard. When I'm ready for this position, both hands are going to come to the sleeves. My knees are going to touch each other, rotate out as I scoop my body back a little bit. I keep hook grips on his sleeves. I'm going to insert one foot into his bicep. From this position, I fall to my side, out, over, under, and then move my body back to the center position. Okay? So my head's parallel with Luke's. My foot stays behind. I've got the lasso leg on one side, elbow stays low, spider guard on the other. I don't need to engage it necessarily unless I need it. Generally from this position, Luke is going to try to pass my guard, or I can initiate the pass. It's going to be tough for him to pass on the lasso leg side. So the direction that he's going to want to try to pass is going to be towards my spider leg side. So my foot will come to the bicep and I'll hook at his hip. I use the lasso leg side to pull Luke to me and load him on top of my shin. From this position, I can release his sleeve and grab a hold of his leg. I need to move him forward a little bit to get him to roll. I keep a hold of his body. Again, from here, if I don't want to attack this arm with a bicep slicer, I'm going to release my grip, put my hand on the ground as I come forward, kick my leg back up to a good knee on belly position. One more time, guys. Starting from the closed guard. Hand on the collar to control his posture, hand on the sleeve to prevent him from opening my guard. When I'm ready for this position, my other hand's going to come to his sleeve. My knees are going to point to the inside as I point them now to the outside. Bringing my feet to the hips, working my body backwards. I'm going to insert my foot onto his bicep. From here, I'm immediately able to come over the top and behind his arm, coming back to center. From this position, Luke's only option to try to pass my guard is going to be towards my left, his right. He can't pass on this side. Okay? So from this position, if I keep his bicep up over the top, I'm going to bring my foot to the opposite side of his body. So both of my feet are going to be on the lasso leg side. From this position, I'm using my foot as a shelf. If I hang out for here too long and I'm lazy with this hand, Luke is just going to push that knee in and work the pass. As long as I keep the lasso leg, I'm still going to be in okay shape as long as I can recover this knee. But if Luke pushes past both, I'm going to be in a real big situation as far as him passing my guard. So this lasso leg shin has to be pointed to the outside to help that position. So as I bring my foot from his bicep to his hip, my knee across his belly is acting like a table that I'm going to put him on top of. I use my open leg to pull, and I load him on top of my shin. Now I can release, grab a hold of his leg. I continue his momentum forward, push with my leg. Now to release, my hand comes to the ground, kick my leg out as I'm up on top to knee on belly position. Again, guys, from this position, the same thing. Collar, sleeve, knees to the inside and point out. I hip escape and work my body back. My foot is gonna come to his bicep. Now from here, hand to my belly as my foot comes over the top and behind his armpit here. I can't be lazy with either one of my arms. Okay, I've got to control his sleeves. My foot's gonna come to his hip and I'm gonna hook on his hip. From this position, I push and pull loop to me. I load him on top of my shin. Okay, I've got all of his weight mainly on top of me. I still have a hold of his sleeve, I remove, and I grab a hold of his leg. Now, this leg is gonna dump him forward to his back. From here, unless I'm going to attack this arm with a bicep slicer here, I want to release the grip, come up to my feet, and kick my leg back, squaring my hips up to loop. We have any questions so far, guys?
No, sir.
Cool. I hope you guys are getting this position and you're working on it. I'm going to show you the solo drill one more time. If you're having trouble with the sweep initially, work on the solo drill, go back and review. One thing that I'll say, guys, if you go to RenzoGracieHouston.com, scroll all the way to the bottom and I'll have a YouTube symbol. Click on that, it'll take you immediately to our YouTube channel. These videos are going to be popping up there. Jenny's already loaded up a bunch of them. You can go back and review, come back and ask comments, or come back and ask questions to these live videos, or message me or the Renzo Gracie Houston page, and I'll answer all of them back as we go back through these. We had a lot of questions last week. We worked through a lot of the problems and issues that people were having with the different positions. So it's really working out well, these virtual classes. Although you're there and I'm here and I want us to be together working towards jiu-jitsu, this is the best scenario right now that we can work in. So practice that, even if it's solo. I'll give you a couple options as far as drills that you can use. One more that we've got real quick. Again, if I take my belt, go in half, put my foot in the middle and slide my hands back. Now I'm going to be able to comfortably work that spider guard, lasso leg position. Try to keep your body connected to it the whole time. Over the top, slide back through. The more in touch and in contact you stay with it, the better the position is going to be and the less space that you allow. Okay? So again, foot in the center, hands about to your waist. One foot's going to come inside. I like to slap with the outside of my foot to extend. It simulates this being their forearm and my foot very close to their elbow on their bicep. Same thing here. Over, pointed toe, back behind your shoulder, back to center. You can work this just spider guard if I want to. Okay? Extending, extending, extending over the top to the lasso leg. All right, guys. Work on those solo drills. The one from standing as well. If you have a partner, you're going to be able to take those solo drills and then work them with a partner. The sweep was in the class earlier today. You can go back and review. Ask away your questions, post it to these two live streams, or message us directly, my own personal page, Brian__Marvin, or Renzo Gracie Houston, either one of those on any social platform that you use. And we're here to teach some more jiu-jitsu later on this evening. 4 o'clock for kids, 5 o'clock for adults. We'll be working on the same positions. Look forward to interacting with you guys. Post pictures, tag us in it. We'll share it to our page as well. You know, like I said, every day is a day closer that we're back here on these mats, having a great time, back to a normal life, hopefully sooner than later. Look forward to seeing you guys. Thanks again to my mulleted monster, Luke, over there. And I'll see you guys soon. See you soon on the mats, guys.